Part of growing a business is making sure your systems grow with you. So if you're in a situation where there's just a lot of chaos in your day and you're just not sure what systems you need, this next guest is going to help you really think through that process. Hey, Giants, welcome back. Today's speaker is Susan Fennema. Hi, Susan, how are you?
Hey, Lois, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. My title is Chaos Eradicating Officer. That's CEO of Beyond the Chaos. You know those small business owners who are always trapped in the day-to-day, they're constantly firefighting, they can't even take a call without getting interrupted, they're worn out, they're overwhelmed, and sometimes they even brag about not going on vacations.
Oh, yeah.
Those are our clients. So we help small business owners get out of the day-to-day of their business ops. We use technology, process, and structure to help them better hold their team accountable so that in the long run, we can get them to a 3-week unplugged vacation. That's how we measure our success in the long run. It helps their business too.
Yeah. When you're automating things that make sure things happen, which is a plus for the business owner. But also, if you have days that you could take off and just rebreathe, that's going to help your business too. I guess I see on one hand where you're saying, oh, those who like to brag, they don't did take a vacation, but it's saying I own a job and not a business. So that's,
Absolutely. And it limits your ability to scale your business. It limits your ability to sell your business in the long run. And it limits your ability to enjoy the business now instead of just, you feel like you're just beat down by it instead of, wow, I'm running this machine that it's so amazing and I get to spend time with my family and maybe have a hobby. Those things come along with it as well.
a hobby other than work.
Exactly.
Yeah. What are some steps that you help business owners go through to eliminate the chaos?
We start by doing an assessment of what all are you doing every day. Owner activity spreadsheet is what we call that. And you pretty much just fill it out. These are the things I'm doing. Do it for a couple days. And then we ask you, okay, what are the weekly tasks, the monthly, the quarterly, maybe the annually? We put all those down on paper and then we start sorting through what do you hate? What do you love? What should be not done at all? Let's just stop doing it altogether. What could be delegated and what needs to be systemized? Because there's so many things that we do without even thinking about it. As small business owners, a perfect example is hiring people. We don't hire people that often because our business is small. And so if we don't have a process to do, that means every time we're interviewing, we're not sharing the same information with people. We're not asking them the same questions. And so we're not able to hire consistently. You can't say, oh, wow, I wish I'd known that when I interviewed them before. Let me make sure I add it to my list next time because you don't have a list. You're flying by the seat of your pants. And so you're just constantly reinventing that wheel every time you do it. So even those things we don't do that often can be systemized and simplified so that you know when it's time to do it, you know what to do.
Oh, that's good. So what are some steps to create systems?
We start by asking questions. Let's take, for example, how you onboard this new person that you've just interviewed. I'll just go right down the line of processes here. You've interviewed them, you're ready to hire them. We will ask questions like, what are all the software programs they need to be added to? What training do they need? Do they need to meet with people on the team? Let's start systemizing this so that every single time as an owner you hire someone, you aren't having to do all the steps. So we can build a template of these are the tools they need to be added to. These are the permissions they need to be granted. This is the training they need to have. And maybe that first time you record the training so that next time they watch the video. So you're starting to be able to systemize things that way. And then you can also take that and flip that into an offboarding task list so that when somebody chooses to leave, you know what to programs to take them out of and that kind of thing. We give people the keys to the kingdom these days. And not that I'm HR, I'm not, we don't do HR, we do operations. But when you are offboarding somebody, knowing what all they have access to is half the battle. You just have to be able to do that quickly, sometimes more quickly than others. But making sure that you're respecting your clients as well, that they can't get in and do something to the clients if it's a rough departure is
Mhm.
important. So having those types of processes that you don't even really think of until you need them is part of the steps that we do. And so we'll ask those questions. We might ask you to record how you do something. We might ask that if you have a written process to share it with us, because a lot of times we can take how you're doing it now and simplify it so that it's a lot more scalable. I have a great example of that.
Okay.
We worked with a client who did payroll for their clients, and they had a 20-page document of how they process this payroll, and it took 3 hours every pay period. And I'm like, that's crazy. So they sent us the document and our heads just exploded. We went through the thing and we're like, there is no automation here. Nothing is templated. They're starting from scratch every single time. So we took that 20-page document down to about 3 pages. We
Oh.
sent it back to them. And in the first payroll, it took 30 minutes
Oh.
out of
Look
three
at all the
hours.
time they saved.
Now, all of a sudden, they're able to do this faster. They're not working late. They were so grateful. And it just made all the difference just to have different eyes. Because as a business owner, you might be able to say, this is what we do. But being able to go back and look at it, and this part could be automated, and this part could be templated, and make it more simple and streamlined is a lot harder. Simple is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, they really are. And with technology these days and AI and all of those things that we have available to us, it has become easier to streamline things.
For sure.
What are some things that you think people should keep in mind when they're thinking about, no, I need to create systems. I need to get rid of this chaos. What?
First, I would say anything that takes too much of your time away from focusing on growing the business is something that you should look to offboard. A business that depends on you also means that you can't get away from it. So, those things that take a long time really have to come off first. The I always look at what's the fulfillment process? What are you delivering to your clients? That part is something to peel off first. As a small business owner, we want to hold on to marketing and sales usually, and finance probably as long as we can. But there are still pieces of finance, like the bookkeeping part, that you can peel off. So it's really constantly refining what's on your list and what you can push off. And to start with a process, you can record it, you can write it down. If you record it, I do recommend having someone transcribe it so that you have something in writing. Because if you go back and you change a program, let's say you go from Asana to Monday.com, and now you have to re-record your whole video as opposed to maybe searching and replacing for Asana to Monday.com. It makes it a lot easier to change and update your systems. And I think that's an important note. Getting started is the most important thing. Do one, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It can evolve and grow and change over time. In fact, it should. As your business evolves and changes, your process also should.
And as technology changes,
Yep,
or
absolutely.
even tax laws or laws in general, you have to be
And
flexible.
people, what's going to
Yeah.
work when you have 10 people, once you figure out how to scale that to 20 people, your process is probably a little different. There might be different roles involved. There might be new things that you're doing. Maybe you didn't do quality control before and now you have a quality control team. Those things are important to add into your process. We also believe that any process that you can push into a template in a software program and make it just run itself is so much better than a written document. So if you open a new project in your project management tool and all the steps are there, that's so much better than somebody having to rebuild that or think about it or even go back to that written document and follow those steps. They're just in front of everybody, assigned to the right people, usually with the right due dates.
That's great. So what if I'm integrating new technology, but it's not solving my problem?
It could be that you have the wrong technology. It could be that your process isn't correct. So, one or the other. I have worked with many people who are like, I've tried Trello, Asana, Monday, teamwork.com. None of them work. Okay, they all work. So it's really how do you work the tool? And that's part of the process structure that you have to put together. You have to know what you want to get out of it so that you know what to put in it. You know, the old saying, garbage in, garbage out, it still applies today. If you're not giving the tool the right information and structuring the tool properly, you're not going to get out of it what you need. And it will be very overwhelming and frustrating. Almost all of these tools on their pages have partners that will help you set it up. And I highly encourage you to look at those routes before you just keep changing software. The other part is you might not have software that is appropriate for you. We worked with a client years ago. It's a 3-person software development company. The only salesperson was the owner, and Salesforce had sold itself into that company. It was so heavy and so overwhelming. They had been working on developing this for months and months, expensive months. And we said, have you looked at HubSpot? And they're like, no. And we're like, can we get you signed up? And we did. And in 3 hours, we had made more progress than they had made in 3 months because it was simpler the way we structured it for that company. That does not mean Salesforce is a bad tool. It's not. It's a great tool. It just is usually used with more salespeople.
Yeah.
And HubSpot can grow with you. Salesforce is very heavy. We've worked with another client who architectural design, and she had been trying for years to get Microsoft Dynamics to work. Same kind of thing. It's a small company. It was just so heavy that it was cumbersome. We switched them over to HubSpot and teamwork.com, and she's flying. So sometimes it's the wrong tool and sometimes it's the wrong process, but you might need help to figure out what those things are. In this day and age, there are so many resources like this at our fingertips, and we think, oh, if we just buy that, it'll fix everything. But sadly, they're not magic yet. Maybe one day, but not yet.
Yeah, everything still has to be programmed into your business. And like you said, if there's just too many steps in there, or too many items or tools in the project, in the system or the computer
Yeah.
program, that's overwhelming.
The features are overwhelming. We're teamwork.com partners. We've worked in that tool since 2017. We are very connected to the management at that tool. We get pre-releases on new things coming out and all that. And I'm telling you, if you're not in it and doing it all the time, there's no way to stay on top of all of that. So if you're trying to figure it out on your own, without having all that knowledge, I can't imagine how cumbersome and confusing it would be. And all the tools are that way. ClickUp's that way, Monday, Asana, all of them. HubSpot too. HubSpot will really pushes the higher level tools, and most small businesses could use HubSpot as the starter package, or even look at something simpler like a Clarity Soft or one of my favorite CRMs, Less Annoying CRM,
Oh,
depending,
I like
depending on what
that.
you're trying to do. So any of those tools can help your business, but knowing which one to choose can be a challenge. That's one of the things we offer is we will do a discovery with our client and dig into what are your challenges, what's on your plate, what's on your team's plate.
Mhm.
So, not just also as the owner, what do you think is going on, but we talk with the team to find out what
Oh,
they think is going on. And then we can make a better recommendation of what is that right tool for you. And unlike most consultants, we also come in and implement it. And I think if you're a small business owner looking for that help, make sure you're finding a consultant who will also do for you and not just coach your team because your team's already probably overloaded. And so it'll just not happen usually. There are people that we also coach teams if they're big enough to do it.
mhm.
But I think one of the things that we don't want to get into from our business perspective is hey, spend a bunch of money with us, get this report, and then never do anything. That's that we want the outcome. We don't want to just deliver something that you're never going to do because you already have too long of a list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. All right, Giants, this is a great connection for you. Susan can help get rid of eliminate and really hone in on what the chaos is and what's creating it and giving you some days off so that you can refresh yourself and come up with great ideas to grow your business. So is there any closing thoughts?
No, you can reach us through our website at beyondthechaos.biz, or you can just email me straight up at Susan at beyondthechaos.biz. Love to hear from you. Love to help you.
All right, and I'll have those links below. So, all right, Susan, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, Giants, see you next time. But the friend chimed in and said to him that our status, we had to go online with a website. So within a year, the businesses that get online early were pulling ahead. The ones that waited lost ground and had to play catch up. The next big shift was online marketing. That was like email, Google search, social media, and the same story every single time. The businesses that jumped in early grew. The ones that stayed behind stayed behind. So right now, I am watching it happen again, except this time it is moving faster than any of those previous shifts did. And most local service businesses, especially the good ones, the ones doing real work for real people in their communities, are invisible to it. Not because they're doing anything wrong, just because nobody is telling them that the change is happening and how quickly it is happening. So I want to share a story not long ago when someone needed a plumber or an HVAC tech, any service, any local business, they would open Google and they would see a list of 10 businesses on the first page. They would scroll through those businesses, read a few names, click around. Your business had a chance to really be found. Well, that world is changing quickly and quietly. And most local service businesses just have no idea. Here's something that makes local search completely different from any other kind of marketing. When someone types best plumber near me or HVAC company in Raleigh, they are not doing research for the next month. They have a problem, a leaking tap, their heater isn't working. They need someone now, today, like in the next hour. If you're not showing up where they are looking right now, you do not get a second chance. They are not coming back next week and searching again and hope your name appears. They found someone else and the job is gone. That is what makes getting this right so urgent and so valuable. Today, 60% of all searches happening through AI. So that's ChatGPT, Siri, Alexa, Google's own AI mode. And by the end of the year, that is expected to hit 80%. But here's the part that changes everything. AI does not give your customer a list. It gives them one, maybe three answers, and that is it. If that answer is your competitor, the call goes to them every single time. And you never even know the person was looking. How many of you have a competitor right now who you know is not doing better work than you, but seems to be getting more calls? That's exactly what we're talking about. Now, I've watched this exact shift happen before with websites, with Google, with email marketing. Every single time the business that moved first pulled ahead, the ones that waited some years try to catch up. The good news, and this is really good news, is that most of your competitors have not figured this out yet. The businesses that get set up now are going to own those spots, and the window to be one of them is still open. So I appreciate you listening in today. That already puts you ahead of most of your competitors who are still waiting to find out. So let me show you exactly what AI is looking for, because once you understand this, everything clicks. Before we go any further, I want you to do something. Get out your phone or a piece of paper. We're going to do a quick calculation together because I want you to see the consistent bookings are actually worth to your business. So first off, answer this question. What is the average job value? How much do you bring in an average job? Write that number down. So how many additional clients per month would make a real difference? Would 2 or 3 make a real difference? Write that down. Now multiply the 3 or 4 or how many of our clients you wrote, the average job value times 12. And that is your AIV, your agreed implementable value. That is what consistent bookings are worth to you per year. All right. Now hold that number in your mind for the rest of our time together, because everything I'm going to show you is designed to get you that number consistently. Not just in a good month, but every month. How many people here would like to add that consistency without working more hours or spending more money on ads? So AI runs a 4-point checklist before it recommends any business. If you fail even one of these, you're invisible. All right, so here they are. Number 1, consistency. AI checks whether your name, address, and phone number, often referred to as NAP, are identical everywhere online. Your website, Google, Yelp, all the directories you're listed. A small difference like writing out street or abbreviating street confuses AI, and a confused AI does not recommend you. So think about this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that your information is consistent everywhere online? The second point is your website structure. AI needs to be able to read your website and understand it in seconds. What do you do? Where do you do it? And who do you serve? Most local business websites are built to look good and pretty to the people. But AI is not a person. If it cannot read your site clearly, you do not exist. So I have a client, a plumber, good guy, in business for 18 years. He had just invested in this beautiful new website, very professional, lots of pictures. We ran his AI visibility score and he failed almost completely on all points. The homepage was 90% images and almost no readable text. AI could not understand what he did or where he worked. His competitor with a simpler, older website was getting recommended in his market because that website was structured the right way. He was not losing because of his work, he was losing because of his website structure. So we fixed it, and within 60 days, new calls were coming in from people who had found him through AI search consistently. So the third point is trust signals. AI looks for evidence that real people trust your business. And what that means is reviews, but also how recent they are, whether you respond to them, and whether your business appears in trusted local sources. So a business with 40 recent responded to reviews can outrank one with 400 old reviews. Recency and engagement matter more than volume. So when did you last get a new review? Was it last week? Last month? Last year? So the fourth signal is content. Content that answers real questions. So AI looks for content that answers the actual questions your customers are asking before they call anyone. This actually replaces like the old blog theory where you would write long articles for SEO stuffed with all kinds of keywords. Now you need very more concise, short content that answers exact questions people are searching for. AI wants to send people to the most helpful, most knowledgeable businesses in the area. If your website has no answers, AI assumes you are not the expert. All right, remember that number you calculated earlier? You kept it in your head? What consistent bookings are worth to your business this year? Every one of these four signals is a leak in your pipeline. Every signal you're failing is costing you a portion of that number. So if your AIV, I don't know, say it was 36,000 per year, and you're failing two of these four signals conservatively, that's $18,000 a year walking to your competitor. Not because they are better, because they are better set up. So would you like to know exactly which of these four signals your business is failing and get a specific plan to fix them? So you've seen the problem, you've seen what it's costing, you understand the shift that is happening right now. Let me talk to you about the solution. I built something called the Fully Booked Blueprint. It is a complete system, not a tactic, not a tool, but a system that fixes every single one of these four signals and turns your business into one that AI recommends consistently in your market. There are two ways to move forward, and both start in the same place. Path one is my done for you service. My team handles everything, the AI optimization, the content, the follow-up system. You focus on your clients, we focus on filling your calendar consistently. Path two is completely DIY. It takes you through each step for the owner who has a team member who can run it or who wants to learn the system. But here's the thing, I do not just slot anyone into a generic package. Everything I do is custom built around your specific business, your specific market, and what your competition is actually doing, because that's the person we're trying to outdo. So we want to look at exactly what they're doing and up their process a little bit. So the next step is a free 20-minute consultation with me. You and I, one-on-one. In that call, we're going to do an AI visibility report on your business. We're going to look at where you are showing up and where you are not. We're going to look at what your competitors are doing, and we're going to map out a specific plan. And if that plan includes working with me, I would be very honored to do that. If it does not, that's okay too. You will walk away knowing exactly where you stand and what to do about it. Because frankly, I would rather give you that clarity for free than have you leave today with a head full of information and no idea what to do next. One more thing I want to tell you, and this matters to the businesses I work with. I work only with one business per service. So if I'm working with an HVAC company in your town, I'm not taking on another HVAC company in your town. I don't want to compete with myself. And here is what I get most excited about to tell you, because this is actually where we start. Step one is a plugin that goes directly onto your website. It does three things automatically. It creates an AI-friendly document that tells AI exactly who you are and what you do. It adds AI schema to every page. And AI schema is like a trusted language that AI reads, just so you know what that is. And it builds an FAQ section on each page based on real questions your customers are already asking about that service. And here's the part that makes this different from anything else out there. It checks itself every single week as AI evolves and the questions your customers are asking change. It updates those questions automatically. So you set it once and it just keeps working. Then from there, we build your specific roadmap based on what your competition is actually doing, not a generic plan, but your plan. If your competitors are outranking you because their website content is stronger, we improve your content. If they are showing up higher because they have more reviews and better reviews, we set up an automated review system that builds your reputation. Every next step is determined by what will actually move the needle in your specific market, not generic, nothing wasted. So I'm going to have a link in the description below if you would like to schedule your free AI visibility review. Select a time using that link and we will look at your specific business together. 20 minutes, no pressure, no obligation, just a real plan. All right, so let me also tell you that if you're enjoying this information, make sure to check out this episode of the Giants Helping Giants as well. So I wanted to tell you about a client of mine, an HVAC owner, great as his, great at his craft, but every month he was gambling. He'd have a great summer and then a terrible fall. We built his fully booked blueprint system. 60 days in, he was getting calls from AI search. 90 days in, he told me, and these are his words, I turned down a job a week ago. First time in 10 years I had that luxury. That is what a system does. It does not just get you more calls, it gets you the right calls consistently, and it gives you your life back. So I wanted to share with you today because something in your business may not be consistent. Some months are great, some months are wondering where the next job is. You know the calculations, you know what consistency booking are worth to you. The fully booked blueprint is a done for you or the DIY package is available right now. Please make your free consultation. And it all starts with the same first step. Your free AI visibility, 20 minutes, just you and me. I show you exactly where your business stands. No pressure, no obligation, just a real plan. So I want to leave you with this. Every time technology has shifted how customers find businesses, websites, email marketing, Google, now AI, the businesses that moved first won. The ones who waited spent years trying to catch up. One of my mentors put it simply, it is not your competitors that is going to put you out of business. It's not staying up with technology. So thank you for your time. Congratulations for those who take the next step. The link is below. And I hope you enjoyed this episode.